There's a moment in every leader's life when the mask slips, when the brand polish and the title and the hustle falls away. And what's left is the truth. I'm Annie Gibbons, Grand Stevie Award winning global business leader who's made it her mission to strip leadership down to what truly matters. Because for years I chased a version of success everyone told me I should want. But what I realised was that real power and influence, true leadership, doesn't come from just peak performance. It actually stems from authenticity. This is The Naked Leader, a podcast where we dive into the moments that test, shape, and transform the people behind the titles. So you'll hear from founders and innovators, change makers who have built extraordinary businesses and lives. But more importantly, who've learnt what it costs to stay human along the way. This isn't about perfection, it's about truth. It's about leadership without the layers. Welcome to The Naked Leader.
Hello everyone, welcome back to The Naked Leader. Great to have you joining me again this week. And today I've got a fantastic guest. Her name is Tennille Skelly. We're going to be talking all things dream admin services because let's face it, who doesn't need a bit of admin support? I certainly do. And she's going to be able to share about her self-made woman success story and all the little bits, the naked bits behind the scenes. So welcome to the show, Tennille.
Hi, Annie. Thank you very much for having me here today.
Great to have you here. I would love you to just take us back to the beginning. What inspired you to start Dream Admin Services and what was your original vision behind it?
So in 2018, I was the mum of two young children. I'd previously worked in corporate in Canberra, so came from a financial corporate background. And in 2018, the role that I was in came to a really abrupt halt. It came out of the blue, no pre-warning, and I was literally without a job overnight. And I remember sitting in the lounge room at home that night going, I really don't want to go back to corporate. My focus at the moment is on my two young children. And I remember thinking, now is the time. It's now or never. I'd always had a dream to run my own business, hence the name Dream Admin Services. And it was founded overnight in January of 2018. And I said to my husband, have you got my back on this? And he said, absolutely. He goes, just go for it. And I had a granny flat at the side of my house and I set up my computer and I got to work, and that was the start of Dream Admin. In terms of vision, I knew I had a skill set from my various backgrounds that I knew I could bring to small business owners to help streamline their business operations. And I knew that I was good at that. I have a real passion for making sure that business owners know how their business is functioning and how to implement services to make it run even better. So the vision at the beginning was, I want to help. And I'm going to bring all of these different skill sets that I've got to your business to help you.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
It's so wonderful to hear, particularly a fellow woman, boldly, bravely making that decision because that is huge. That is huge, particularly at a time. I know many of the listeners would be agreeing, going, you have these dreams and you want to do it, but you also go, but I need that guarantee of the paycheck, the desperation to just get another job. So it is a really big, bold, brave move to actually do what you did and to make it happen. And I know that feeling of saying, darling, are you backing me here? Because that's otherwise a recipe for disaster. So you then amazingly built a thriving business around helping others streamline theirs, which is great. So what problem did you see in the market that you really wanted to solve?
So I saw that many small businesses had a staff member perhaps sitting in their organisation that was really skilled in one area. So they might have somebody who was a really fantastic receptionist, but doesn't know how to do the bookwork, or had an outsourced bookkeeper, but that bookkeeper couldn't also provide them with HR advice or provide them with virtual reception support. So I wanted to be that one-stop shop for a business to come to say, this is where we're feeling some pain in our business, and Dream Admin can solve that for us. So initially I was like, okay, I've got skill sets in all these areas. I'm going to bring them to Dream Admin, and the areas that I'm not so great at, I'm going to resource with exceptional, and my original vision was women, exceptional women, particularly those that were returning to the workforce after having children, because I knew how difficult that transition was back into the workforce. And so I wanted to give those women an avenue to continue their careers. So that's where it came from. That's how the vision started. And we initially had, there was 3 of us working out of the granny flat for about 12 months until we were busting at the seams, and we moved into our first commercial premises in town.
Wow, amazing,
Mm.
amazing. And that's the problem that all of us small business owners have, and even the businesses that I consult for now. You've only got so many resources, and you've got to focus on what you do, but there are all these other needs, and then you
Mhm.
get those issues of, should I outsource or should I just try and pretend? People here are multi-skilled, and it's hard on them, and it's not great for the business. So I'm all into outsourcing where needed, because you just stretch yourself too thin and it's not great from an HR perspective. But we'll dive into that. I know on your website it says that you treat your clients' businesses as if they were your own.
Mhm.
What does that really mean, and why is that so important?
So I think when you outsource to somebody, you often have an outsourcing model that, is just skimming the top layer of that business surface. I never wanted to be like that. Client
Mm,
relationships have always been something that I have invested my time and energy into. And I'm really grateful to say that a lot of my clients that I've worked with are my friends now as a result. I really invest myself into their business, and I care. I care. I want to see them do well.
mm,
So when we were talking about our vision for Dream Admin, I wanted to make sure that the clients coming to us knew how much we cared,
mm,
and that we really wanted to integrate ourselves fully within their business and treat it as if it was our own.
mm,
So I try to give as much knowledge as I can to my clients that, hey, I'm looking at the financials here. This needs a little bit of love. Or if they've got a HR problem, okay, how do we navigate a path forward together? These are some of the experiences I've come across, and these are some solutions to the problems that you might
mm,
have across the business.
mm,
So those client relationships are probably where that treating your business as if it was our own really comes from. I really like to make myself and my team as involved in that client's business as possible, so they feel supported.
And I think that's one of the X factors to your success, actually, for the listeners to know that often you think, oh, I'm just outsourcing this. Whereas if you can actually connect with a business, that then they become part of you. Where
Mhm.
I'm working at the moment, we outsource our marketing, we also outsource our bookkeeping, our IT, but they're actually part of our team. And if
Mhm.
you can see them as part of the team, you then involve them in the loop. You're all there working together. It's a very different arrangement than if you just go, oh, they'll just do this project for me or something.
Mhm.
They're helping me, whereas it's been part of the team. So I love that. Now, I have noticed though that you offer so many different services. And while we're often talking niche it, niche it, niche it, you've got bookkeeping and HR, virtual reception, you've got so many things that you offer. Was that a challenge for you to expand? And did you have to expand those one by one, or did you just go, wow, we're just going to offer all the support everybody needs?
No, so it did happen sort of gradually. In terms of the admin, bookkeeping, and VR functions that we offer,
Mm,
they were, our initial service offerings that we
mm,
started with, along with social and digital marketing. So they were the areas that I knew I could offer to my clients and do a really good job at those functions. So
yeah.
that was from the beginning, and then over time we began to see where our clients' pain points were. And so from there, we started to recruit and resource Dream Admin with skilled professionals in those areas. So that's when the HR came, that's when the website development came. So those pain points and debt collection. So we also have a sister company to Dream
Wow.
Admin called Pink Door, which solely works on debt collection for our clients.
Mm,
And we've got a small team there that just does that type of work. So all of the pain points that we were seeing our clients coming to us with, I was like, right, this is an opportunity for us to support them. How do I resource that into my business and get the best professionals that I can to help Dream Admin
mm.
grow?
I think that's so clever because that's right. Once you've got that client, they're going to have other issues. And so
Hmm.
one of the small business tips is always don't start too broad because you're going to have to serve all of those areas really well.
Hmm.
But definitely once you get established to then start going, okay, how else could I help you? And if you can do
Hmm.
that into your business model, I think absolutely stellar. So as a managing director, founder, CEO, what sort of leadership principles now guide you to run your team and deliver for your clients? Because while you have your heart and soul in it and you're wanting all these things for your business, how does that translate into the leadership? Because your business brand is as good as the people that work for you, right?
Hmm. 100%. And I think that comes down to, again, resourcing with the right people. So, I've got a really fantastic team that support me. And the way we've structured Dream Admin, I try to make myself almost a little bit insignificant in the whole business operation. I'm still there very much. I'm the visionary. I'm looking at the future of Dream Admin. But I've got some incredible women that are on the coalface of Dream Admin services. And they run the day-to-day operations and ensure that our clients are supported really well. So I think it comes down to resourcing and making sure that you hire people that are better at a job than what you are.
Yes.
Um, and also growing my team. So we ensure that the staff that we are having regular check-ins with the team and going, okay, what areas of your development are you seeing that you're really enjoying and would like to continue to grow those areas? So we do a lot of investment in training with our staff, and I might have a VR or an admin girl say, hey, I really wanted to do bookkeeping. I really enjoy that. And so we will make plans to go, okay, if this is what you want, let's map out a path together of how we're going to achieve that goal. And so I've had some staff that have started off in our virtual reception team who are now almost at the end of their bookkeeping qualifications. So
Wow.
I think it's
That
also
is so
listening.
good.
Yeah, it's also listening to your staff, seeing what their goals are and what their visions are for their future, and supporting them in that growth. Because we live in a rural town here, in a small country town, and finding talent is really, really difficult where we are. And
Mm,
I've still got this passion for inspiring and encouraging women to have a really great career. So I'll often bring them in as trainees and grow them and develop them with the business and get them really focused on what they want to achieve as part of their career. But
mm,
I also think that communication is really important in terms of leadership. I'm a pretty open book and I've got an open door policy with all of my team. So at any time, they can pick up the phone, they can send me a message. There's never an issue that is too big or too small that they can't bring to me. I make sure
mm,
that I'm still really part of their lives, although I'm not as visible as a day-to-day manager. I always want them to know that I'm here and I'm
mm,
supporting them. So I think my communication is probably one of my key strong points with my leadership and something that I'm continuing to work on every single day and is being a better leader. But I see myself as my big goal is the long-term vision for Dream Admin
mm.
Services. What does the next 5 to 10 years look like,
Yeah.
and how we can go to continue to grow these businesses?
Mm. And I think that's a sign of real success when you can then just drop into your business and be that face, be that support. You're only a step away, but you can actually position yourself over just a few years to be able to be, yeah, I'm building the future. I'm futures. You've got that time, that energy, that resource
Hmm.
because you've got trusted people there. And I think a gem for our listeners there was to, if you can hire someone who is better at that specific task than you have struck gold because that's what
Hmm.
you're actually wanting. You're not wanting someone to help you out. You're actually hiring someone to be, a gun in that particular area because we as founders, you're not going to be the best at everything. When you first start, you're multitasking and you
Hmm.
can do those things, but it doesn't mean that that should continue. So I thought that was a real gem there. You would have had some challenges though, right? So what are some of the biggest challenges that you faced as a business owner and how did you then navigate those?
Yeah, sure. Challenges, I think they come all the time as being a business owner. I think often when I don't have a challenge presented to me, I'm like, hang on a sec.
Am I doing
What
enough?
what's going on here? But I think probably initially in that first 12 to 24 months, um, one of my goals with Dream was I didn't want to borrow money to start this business.
Mm.
I wanted to make sure that it could fund itself. And that came with complexity. So the first 12 months, I didn't pay myself. So I was lucky that, from my previous roles, I've always been a really good saver, that I had money to lean on during those first 12 months, as I reinvested continually into the business and into the staff. So that first 12 months was definitely challenging financially.
Mm.
And I remember having a conversation with my husband sort of around the 12-month mark. And he said to me, "Do you think it's time that you went back and got a normal job?" And
Oh.
I remember saying to him, "I've got this. I've got this. Trust
Mm.
me, this is going to pay off."
Mm.
And he's always my biggest supporter, always has been my biggest supporter. And he said, "Okay, all right, you know, I trust what you're saying." And then within, by the following end of the 2-year mark, he could see that I was true to my word, and things were really starting to develop. So
Mm.
definitely those financial impacts to begin with were tricky. But I think also one of the things that is so important for every business owner is I know my numbers. I am
Mm.
all over my numbers. I watch them closely all the time, and looking at the peaks and troughs within the business, and also really looking at what's my next investment within the business going to be. And
Mm.
now we're such a large business now, a large small business, I would call it. Um, there's lots of things that we need to factor in terms of how we manage our cash flow. So I make sure I'm over those numbers.
Mm.
At our management meetings, the girls I think probably get sick of me asking questions in and around that. But I think it's foundational. It's
Mm.
foundational for the
Definitely.
long-term growth. So yeah, they're probably the key things that I've faced in terms of challenges initially. And then
Mm.
it's been staff too. Like, you at times, people change direction, and you might, set out a goal and a plan for them. And it might end up that, once they've been there for a while, they've decided that that's not quite for them. And that's okay. But that has a really big impact because, as I
Mm.
mentioned before, we're in a small country town. Resourcing our team, takes time and takes
Mm.
time to find the right person. So I'll talk about it a bit later, but I've got a plan for the next 2 years of what that looks like to
Mm.
enable our continued growth. But finding the right people who share the same goals and vision for you,
Mm.
once you find them, oh gosh,
Oh,
I hang on to
you
them.
gotta love them.
I
You gotta
hang
love
on to
them to
them.
death because
Yeah.
that's it. If that they are gold, your business brand is as good as the some of the people, right? And when
Hmm.
you get those little treasures, it is gold, absolutely. And that is a struggle. And thank you for sharing that. The financial struggle that you shared was absolutely real. For all new business owners, and it's a huge moment of am I still backing myself when that
Hmm.
pressure is on
Hmm.
and you run out. But the recruitment thing, and I love the way that you've still gone, but I'm still going to invest in my people. There'll be people who I've seen run businesses who don't do that because they like that person to stay there. And I go, no, the Richard Branson model of, invest in your people so much that they don't want to leave, I think is a
So
better
true.
one. Plus, also, if they have moved on and grown, you want to wish them well. Wow, what a great opportunity that you've had as a business leader to nurture and grow someone that they've gone off for amazing, bigger, better opportunities. So while painful that you have to be replaced, I have joy when I see people grow into those other roles, as I did and you
Hmm.
have. So then you're in a rural town, and we've got the rise of remote work, and digital
Hmm.
businesses have really changed the way we operate, and therefore your clients have operated. So how has that affected you? Do you now have remote staff? Has that been a good thing for your business that people are more open to remote work with support groups such as Dream Admin?
So we aren't a virtual business. We offer virtual services, but we run our full business operation out
Wow.
of rural New South Wales. And yes, that's been challenging at times, as I mentioned, trying to find and recruit talent. But I'm planning on expanding in 2027, and I'm going to open up an office in Canberra and continue to grow Dream there and resource talent through there. So we've got some really big plans for the future with that. But I know COVID was such a difficult time for so many businesses. We were really fortunate that that was actually a massive turning point in Dream Admin because people started to look at running their businesses differently as a result of COVID.
Mm,
So, us being a virtual operation, we were still running through COVID. Yes, we had to pivot and we had to change how we were delivering our services during that time. But we were able to fully support our clients during a time where they were unable to run their businesses as normal.
mm,
So we saw significant growth during COVID, and it also enabled us to go, okay, there is a real need for these services. How do we ensure that we're marketing to the
mm.
right people who need us? So our we did quite a significant change in our marketing structure during that time as well.
Yeah, which is a good idea because that's another problem that many people, they're the best kept secret, right? You've
Hmm.
got all these fantastic things and people just don't know about you. So
That's
good to hear that. So you're all about streamlining processes that save time and money for other businesses. When you then take on a new client, what are the most common inefficiencies you see when you're first starting with them?
Yeah, sure. A lot of the time it's in and around not utilizing technology to streamline how their business runs.
Mm,
Um, Especially in the admin and bookkeeping space, there is so many tech stack options that
mm,
businesses can implement to make their business run more efficiently. And we look at a business and go, okay, we have got some incredible solutions here that are going to cut down how
mm,
you process your data and your information, and we can get you better data and information as a result of implementing
mm,
these tech solutions. So tech is probably one of the biggest things, and a lot of our target market clients are small trade business operations where the tradie is on the tools during the day, doesn't have a lot of time to be doing the business operations well, often answering the phone while on a noisy building site, doesn't have the right booking systems in place to make, their client able to book them seamlessly. So we look at those things and go, okay, we've got some solutions we can deploy really quickly into your business to make this run better,
mm,
and then make sure that their bookkeeping function is done exceptionally well. Develop a really great relationship with their accountant. So the business owner is getting really good data regularly about how their business is performing. They're not flying blind. They're
mm.
getting, real-time data, and they can make really informed decisions to ensure that their business continues to run well. So that initial, onboarding procedure with our clients, we invest a lot of time there to make sure that we are streamlining their processes and making their business run well.
Mm. I love that. And I can imagine that scene of, that's right, you're a trader, you're on a rooftop, you're answering a phone, you're thinking, who was that person? And then trying to remember. And then also the amount that do a job and then haven't got round to invoicing that person. I mean, this is just so common, isn't it? And it's
Hmm.
amazing that it's all on the tech and the booking systems, and we've got so many opportunities now to utilize. And that's it. You must just have a smorgasbord of opportunities. And then when you see that business, you go, okay, but this would help you or that would help you. You don't have to suddenly add lots. And also, you're taking that tech stress away from them, aren't you?
100%, 100%. And we're also training them on how to use the tech,
Mm,
and how to implement the tech into their business well. So we've got some businesses that were solely reliant on taking their bookings over the phone.
mm,
So we look at their website. How's their website set up? Is there a way that we can make this easier for potential clients to make a booking with the electrician, the plumber, the aircon mechanic,
mm,
so they can, make that function happen for them?
mm.
Um, so yeah, there's lots of different solutions we can deploy to help those businesses
Wow.
continue to grow.
So you also then pay money for a service to help you with that service. And then so some listeners would go, okay, so is there an example that you can share that someone used a service and because of this relationship, then actually received went exponential in their business? They actually had tangible, before I was earning X and now I'm earning Y because I've partnered up and changed the tech in my business.
We've got lots of good news stories with lots of our clients since partnering with Dream. And, just having a quick look at our Google reviews sort of highlights how we've been able to change so many small business owners' lives. But I've probably got a story in and around an already quite successful business that we work with, that when they came to us, they weren't using any tech whatsoever. The business was, already in a really great cash flow positive position. They were earning good money, but their systems were old and archaic. So when they came to us, one of the first things we looked at was getting them off a really clunky accounting system that they were using, streamlining them and moving them to Xero, and then also looking at their manual processes. They were still writing in handwritten books of how we could how we could deploy operational software like ServiceMate into their business, where their technicians in the field could jump on their mobile phones or iPads, whatever they had in their trucks, and upload the data in real time, invoice the client in real time. And whilst this client was still doing okay financially, just the stress that was relieved from their techs in the field, they had a much happier workforce. And then also the real-time cash implications that had. So the clients were paying them then and there on the spot a lot of the time as a result of the deployment of this tech. So, whilst it hasn't had a huge impact on them financially, operationally, we've changed their world.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does. It's even cash flow. I've worked with businesses who then you go, yeah, just even ask for a deposit, ask for a $50 deposit before. So if you cancel, at least that's enacted a cancellation policy or whatever it is, So it makes a difference on time, but it definitely helps you get that money quicker, faster. And it also usually results then in more people who follow through and show up.
Agreed.
Yeah. So have you noticed any massive mindset shifts? It sounds like you're really positive and sure of yourself right from the beginning. It was a dream, that it was destiny. It was almost like, this is my time. But have you noticed any mindset shifts that have helped you to grow the business in those times of challenges that you've thought, right, I've really got to alter the way I think?
Yeah, I've done a lot of work on myself personally over the years of working with Dream Admin and growing this business. So there's been times of doubt and insecurity. I've definitely faced those things and shown up at times going, can I actually do this? So that's when I worked with people who were professionals in those spaces and really invested in myself, because I know that I'm really good at what I do and I'm really confident in my abilities and really confident in my team. But I think it's natural at different phases of your life to question that.
Yeah.
And when some of those feelings started showing up for me in my world, I was like, right, I need to knock this on the head quickly. I need to work with some incredible people in this space to work out what's going on in my mind and continue the path forward. And thankfully, those times have been very few and far between for me. But, I'll definitely lean on people in those spaces when I need to ensure my own growth and development. I'm my own biggest asset. So I've got to continue to invest in myself that way. And I do continue a lot of training and education in our space to make sure I'm at the forefront of what the industry is doing. And particularly in the bookkeeping space, that's ever changing with the Tax Practitioners Board. We've really got to be on top of that all the time. But, definitely there has been times throughout business where things have been tough emotionally, physically. I've still got, two young children that I need to manage who are very active and, still being a mum in the middle of being a business owner who works huge hours. So there's a lot of balance that happens. But yeah, I am positive. I am a positive person by nature. And, I still wake up every morning and as soon as my feet hit the ground, I'm still really excited about what I'm developing and what our team are doing at Dream Admin. So I still think there's a lot of years of passion left in me yet.
I love that. I can hear it. I can feel it actually through the screen. So what does the future look like? Are there any new services, innovations? What's on the horizon?
Yeah, so 2027, as I mentioned before, we are going to be expanding into Canberra. So that was a decision that we made because of our access to talent. So we'll be opening up in Canberra, so we've got a bigger talent pool to continue to grow the business. So that's probably one of our big struggles at the moment is resourcing the team well. So I'll be in Canberra a couple of days a week from 2027, which I'm really excited about as our daughter starts high school then in Canberra. So that's a really exciting period of time. But in terms of service offerings, I'm really dictated by the market. So whenever I'm speaking to a client and a client, would share with me a pain point, that the cogs in my brain start. And I go, how can I potentially support this client and their business with this pain point? So whilst I don't have any exact service offerings coming in the future, the cogs are always turning. But our big focus and big push, obviously, Canberra 2027, but also growing our debt collection business. That is probably our big focus for the next 12 months. And it's a sign of our times, unfortunately, that we're in an economic climate where more and more people are struggling to pay the bills. And that is impacting a lot of our clients in terms of them not getting paid on time. So Pink Door is growing quite rapidly. So keeping up with that is probably my focus for the next 6 to 12 months.
Fantastic. So just to close, Tennille, what advice would you give fellow entrepreneurs trying to build sustainable, people-centered businesses like you have? What would it be?
Be really clear on what your mission and values are. Be really clear from the onset of what problem you're trying to solve in market. Design your avatar client. What do they look like? How am I going to market to them? How am I going to get in front of them? And what problems or pain points can I resolve for them? Be really clear on that. Resource yourself with a great team. Put the people in around you that are got the same vision for the future that you do. They're on board. They support you in the business, and in kind, you support them in their growth and development is really important. And then, lastly, we touched on it before, know your numbers. I can't drive that home to business owners enough. And if you're not financially literate and that's not an area of expertise for you, invest in people who are. It's really important for you to reach out and go, okay, this is not my strong suit. I'm a fantastic tradie and I'm really great at fixing an aircon or doing plumbing, but my financial literacy isn't where it should be. Resource yourself with people who are experts in that field and who you can build a really good relationship with. You can relate well to them. The language that they use is digestible for you, and build those relationships with those people so you can make informed, well-rounded decisions for your business.
Fantastic. Tennille, thank you so much for sharing with me today. I absolutely loved our conversation. It's been so educational and informative. So listeners, I hope you've picked up so many tips there. Thanks to Tennille, and thank you to our wonderful listeners for joining us again. I look forward to seeing you next week with another amazing guest. And till then, have a great week.
Thank you for tuning in to The Naked Leader. If today's conversation challenged your thinking or inspired new action, definitely share it. Leave me a comment. Keep the message alive. You can catch every episode on YouTube, Spotify, or all major podcast platforms. And when you're ready to take the next big bold step for you to start, grow, or scale your business or career, drop over to anniegibbons.com. I look forward to meeting you very soon.